It's Kyle here, and today I'm going to be reviewing a book that 99.9% of you are probably familiar with the book / series or with the television show. And that is Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Before I start with the review, I should say I haven't seen the TV show for no negative reasons. It happened to be when the show first came on. I didn't have access to HBO. If I did, I probably would have watched it from the beginning. But everything I heard about it is like, oh, this sounds like a great show. I want to watch at some point. And I never really heard of the series before the show came out. And once I heard more about that there's this awesome book series that goes along with it, I kind of, after I thought about it for a while, I was like, I'd really like to read the book before I watch the television series. But at that time, I happened to be reading a lot of other big series, and I didn't want to add another huge series to my reading list because I try not to read nothing but series because then I feel like it gets a little old. So I try to mix in some standalone books and some nonfiction. But I've wrapped up a lot of those other big series I've been reading, so I decided it's finally time to start this. So really was looking forward to reading this, and the book did not disappoint at all. I enjoyed it immensely. I'm really not going to go into the plot too much because the plot is so well known because of the television series and the fact how popular the book is, but I do want to say a few points on why I like the book so much. One, this is a genre I like a lot. Like many people, I like the natural comparison. It can be the Lord of the Rings, and it definitely reminded me of that in a lot of ways. Obviously, the Lord of the Rings features a lot more magic, a lot more different species than a Game of Thrones does, but still there's that common thread there, and I love the Lord of the Rings books and movies, so I think it's natural. If you like the Lord of the Rings, you're probably going to like a Game of Thrones. Secondly, it's just very well written, a lot of action, great pacing. Even though it's a long book, it doesn't feel like it's a long book. Sometimes you're reading a long book and you feel like, oh, it's taking forever to read this. I really have to plow through. This one read very quickly to me. It never felt like, oh, here's 40 pages he could have got rid of and the book would have been a lot better. It's like everything that he put in there, you felt like it needed. So I enjoyed that aspect. 3, he did an awesome job with character development. This is the thing I think a lot of authors struggle with. Most authors are really able to make you care about the main character, maybe main 2 or 3. When you start branching that number out to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there's very few authors that can make you care about that 10th character as much as you care about the character that gets the most time in the book. One of my favorite authors, a couple of them ones that do a great job with that, I think, is Ken Follett and Harry Turtledove. They're both great at making you care about all the characters. I think George R.R. Martin did that in this book. I really cared about all the characters. I found them all interesting. Some characters, I was rooting for, other ones I hated, but I still found them interesting, because that's the trick. Just because you hate a character doesn't mean you can't find them interesting and you enjoy reading about them. And so he did an awesome job with character development. Another thing I really loved about this book is world building. I'm a huge fan of world building, partly because I'm really into history, really into politics. So I always find it very interesting about how societies are structured, how they came about, all the politics involved, all the stuff with society. A lot of people, it bores them. So I know some people might not like that element of the book, but I really like the amazing job that George R.R. Martin did of laying out this world for us and kind of clearly demonstrating here's all the major political powers, and this is their background, their history, how they came to this point. This is what they're striving for now. This is their superstitions. This is their religion. All that type of stuff. He did an amazing job at introducing that all in one book. And sometimes people go a little overboard with the world building. They devote so much time with the world building that they neglect the plot. But he doesn't do this. The plot still is awesome, but yet he does a great job with world building. So that's just some of the reasons why I really love this book. So I'm definitely, and I knew once I got this first book, I was very confident I'd enjoy the first book and would commit to reading the entire series. But I can definitely say after reading the first book, I am going to read the entire series. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading the second book of the series. But I do think I am going to try to hold true to my stand at the moment that I'm going to try to read the series before I start watching the television series. So at least that's how I feel now. I might change my mind in the future, but for now I'm going to try to read all the books before I start the television. So anyway, that's my review of A Game of Thrones by George R. R. Martin. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any recommendations for books you think I should check out, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you the next time.